part of something beautiful. Have you ever experienced guilt? Guilt is a reminder that you are saying or doing or acting out something that is not okay with you, not the rest of us, with you. If I think they feel or do something and I feel guilt, I've gone against myself. It's like self-monitoring. So it's we all have this in us, I imagine. I'm in touch with mine every time I go against it. I get it. I get it. I get it. So like being this living barometer, just have fun allowing it to be your teacher. And, I just don't feel, I'm just a little depressed today, well, what's that about? Get really still, pull out a worksheet. Those of you new to the work today, the work is a way to identify and question the thoughts that cause all the suffering in your life, all the suffering in your world. I don't say that lightly. I've tested. I'm like this living test tube of Velo. You have a question. Hello.
Hi, Katie. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm sorry. I had to go from my computer to my phone.
Oh my
Anyhow.
gosh. Oh my gosh. You don't look sorry to me.
Well,
I
listen,
hear you,
I
honey.
wanted,
Yeah, I just can't help myself. So what's your
I,
question?
yeah, I just want to thank you for the privilege of speaking with you. First of all, I've been a big fan of your work for many years.
Oh, mm, I love that.
Yeah. So my question, Katie, is I'm meditating on a situation, and the question I wrote down is it possible that asking question two can sometimes create doubt in a belief where doubt isn't needed?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering,
Originally this work was three questions and turnaround. But I wanted to give people a little more time and is it true to support them to ponder? So it's just kind of this little leg I stuck out there to hold us in. Is it true? But yeah, that's all. Yeah, it can create more. It can, it's like, oh, let me think about that again, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can talk you out of what you have found is authentic for yourself. It can kind of get wobbly there. Yeah.
yes, and that was my experience that I probably wasn't doing the work correctly because I found when I questioned that belief in that situation, it wasn't helpful.
Uh-huh.
It
Mm-hmm.
created doubt. In other words, I questioned reality, and because of that, I wasn't aligned with it, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you might just drop that leg. Can I absolutely, can I absolutely know that it's true? Just, it's like, is what I'm believing true? And sit in that time and place, being present there, allowing what's shown to you there to show you the answer in that experience, and then move to notice how you react, what happens in that situation, and just skip that second, is it true? Can you really know that it's true?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just love that so much.
Well, the reason I asked Katie is because the experience I had was in my mind during the situation, I was doing the work because, as you always say, this is a practice.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the one time where, because of doing the work, I found myself in more pain than if I didn't do the work, which was very strange for me. And that's why I bring up the question.
I'm kind of at a loss to how to respond, not knowing the situation or
Yes. Well,
my.
and I could tell you, but I want to be respectful of other people who have questions. Um, so I don't know if this would be helpful to other people, so I want to be mindful.
It's all a practice in stillness. It is a way of meditating in a situation that was painful or upsetting, to takes a lot of courage to do this work and just follow the simple directions and when you turn it around, it's like no matter what you do with that, can I really know that it's true? That second question, no matter what comes up for you, if it was true for you in the first place, it's chances are it's not going to affect that. But if it does, you just continue to sit in that experience and come out with your yes or no. And if it's still don't know, it's okay. Move to 3. Notice how you react when you believe the thought. Now we're getting down to the cause of your suffering. And that's what's valuable. And then who would you be without it? So you can see how it'll straighten itself out using all 4. But for you, you just spend more time in, is it true? And you get the same experience as if that second question weren't even there. And those of you new to the work today, this could just, what are these people talking about? I'm so confused. I'm out of here. But I invite you just to hang in and and watch what unfolds. That answers where the answers are shown. This sure is personal work, isn't it, sweetie?
Yeah, and the ego doesn't like it. I sometimes have a hard time even getting to the turnarounds because,
Honey, the ego doesn't trust it. You're messing with you're messing with identity. This I know mind, these things, I'm so sure about it, this I know mind. And that is identity. So, that's why I call it the work. We're not bypassing, we're sitting with the ego, this terrified child, and offering it a home with unconditional love. The absence of war when I'm sitting in this work, it's a killer. It's a killer of the cause of suffering. Identity. I lost identity, let's say that's so, and saw that it wasn't needed. There are people that think I'm their mother. There are 3 of them, 2 sons and a daughter. And then there's there's Stephen who thinks I'm his wife. I'm identified all over the place. My self-identification just ceases to be necessary. Some see me as a friend, some see me as not. How do I see people? That's that's on me. And any lack of understanding, that's my lack of understanding. So this work, it's self, just you with you, just you with you, no help, no other, just being patient with your beautiful self, knowing that there's something in you that is immovable, and the ego's looking for a home, wants to be physical, wants to be I am this woman talking to you. It's a state of mind. I hear people talking about the illusion. Well, that is the past in our head and the future in our head. That's the illusion and the people in it, and including myself. I see me there yesterday. I see me there in the future today, but that's not I. If there's anything real about me, it is right here, right now, in the privilege of who cares, illusion or not, here with you and all of you dears, my heart's desire. I'm in. I just go, oh, it's an illusion, I'm out of here. I'm so in.
Thank you, Katie, and thank you for the work you've done with Steve Chandler.
Oh, yeah. Pass my love on to that wild, wonderful guy. And Amy. Oh, my goodness. Alejandro, you have a worksheet, honey? Those of you new to the work today, the worksheet I mentioned, the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, there are 6 questions on it. And Alejandro, I'm assuming that you have filled in, you've answered those 6
Yes.
questions.
Hi.
So, hi. What did you write for number 1, the first question?
Number one, I thought I had to send this to you before. Okay. Yes, number one. So I am hurt, sad, scared with uh, life. As I wrote it down, it's life slash God, because it is too hard for me.
Okay, and
Um,
situation where life is too hard.
Okay, so I'm not sure I did this right. I should start with that, because well, I anchored it to a situation at first, but then it was too hard for me, especially talking about God, or to anchor it to one specific situation. When I started writing it down, the specific situation was this morning, that I had a really rough night. I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't sleep 2 nights before also, and it scares me a lot. Well, I feel my body depleting, and my brain like working a lot more slowly, and I worry. I had a crisis like this before, and it was really really tough, and now I'm like a little, it just scared, not worrying might happen, worried that I might end up that way again.
Sweetie, you're not alone. That's the first thing I want to say. You're not alone. So be there in that situation where you're afraid that same thing is going to happen to you again. You're getting up in the morning. You haven't had enough sleep. That's your thought. And you have the thought that life is too hard for you. Okay, so anchor there in that time and place in that situation. So are you in bed or sitting beside the bed, on the
I
bed?
I am in the kitchen,
You're in the kitchen.
and I just did like a little bit of a tantrum there, like just venting out, and my mom was there, and she hugged me, and I cried, and she cried, and
Yeah. Okay, so be there now in that situation with your mom. Anchor there. Look at you. You see you in your mind's eye. You see your mom in your mind's eye. Life is too hard for you. Is it true? So anchor there. Are you standing or sitting
um,
in that situation?
like I just ended up sitting on the floor.
You're sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
Now notice how well you're doing that. You're frightened out of your gourd. But from here now, look at you then. Look how well you're sitting on the floor. Now notice as you're sitting on the floor, who would you be without the thought, life is too hard for you? So just be on the floor. Notice how life doesn't have anything in store for you other than to sit on the floor. Voluntarily or involuntarily, look how well you're doing with it. Notice how the floor holds you. Get anchored. Now notice, is there anything to do in that moment? Is there anything required of you in that moment? I'm not talking about later in the illusion of time, but in that situation on the floor. Is there anything required of you other than that in that situation?
Yeah. No.
Okay, so you're about to avoid the no. Feel it. No. Unless you see something that I don't.
I do see things that you don't. I mean, sure, it might be
The
fine
ego,
to be
you
sitting on
think,
the floor there, and in a few days I'm gonna
no, not in a
need to
few
get
days.
up.
Notice at some point you
Yeah,
got up. At some point you got up. You got up, Alejandro. At some point, and you did it effortlessly. You got up. Who would you be without the thought life is too hard for you? You were sitting on the floor. You stood up and you didn't think, I can't stand up, I can't stand up, I can't sit here, I can't. No, you were, that's life. Life is too hard for you. Be there now in those two situations. Life is too hard for you. Is it true? I'm not talking about life in the future. I'm talking about life in that situation with your mother, sitting on the floor, getting up. Life is too hard for you. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not talking about future life. I'm talking about life lived.
It's
Your mind goes to the future.
yeah, and that's not
Well, honey,
not an easy thing to avoid.
well, it doesn't matter. You're living life. And it's not hard. And then your ego takes you into the future and you experience terror, hopelessness, depression, unmanageability. All the time, notice the breath that's going in and out of you. Notice you're being breathed. And something took you to the ground, and something got you up. There's something amazing going on. But your ego's in the future, and it's in the past where you were so depressed, and it's in the future where it's happening again to your head, all that horror. So, who are you on the floor without the thought, life is too hard for me?
Just sitting on the floor.
Yeah, look how well you do it. Other than what you're thinking and believing, well done. Notice when you got up, you didn't think, I think I'll get up now, and I think I'll do it this way. No, you just got up. So, what was the cause of your suffering? What you were thinking and believing, or life?
What I'm thinking and believing.
Yeah. Want a little fear and terror? Get a future while life is going on and you're living it really well. Life is too hard for me. Turn it around. What's an opposite?
Life is not too hard for me.
No, you did it well. Other than what you were thinking and believing, you did it well.
I am too hard for me.
Yeah, what you're thinking and believing, what the ego is offering up of the future, that's fear and terror. Debilitating for some of us sometimes.
It's it, it I have been in these mental loops, and I have been
That's a good one.
in
That's a good one. Go back to the past for proof that you're just not going to survive this.
it's just I mean, as I continue to write these things, uh, I noticed that I I couldn't quite anchor in the situation I just told you about, but I just judge God for suffering that I have lived, for suffering that I lived when I was too young to know what to do with my thoughts,
You
or
can go back.
feelings,
You can go
and
back.
it was so much suffering, but so much, and I
So,
think
so
why we
Alessandro, you can go back to that little guy, that little precious, and you can sit with him just the way I'm sitting with you, and you can give him this work because he's in my world. It's like he's lost until you go back to retrieve him. And it takes a lot of courage, but obviously you have it. But you go back to that situation where it was hell and you anchor there and you fill in your worksheet and you look at what you were thinking and believing. And if you need help, all of you, our helpline is up today by these generous facilitators that have done their work, and it's free of charge, and they are there for you if you need a little help.
should I like do a worksheet for every situation in which I felt some sort of conflict with God?
Oh, only if
Like,
only if you want to catch up to your beautiful self. God is, we have, some of us have, you know, the way we think of God. Some of us, when we think God, we think love, maybe, or goodness, or perfection, or, you know, let's say. So I would do a worksheet on God.
yeah, that's what I did. I
Okay,
mean,
that
I didn't know if it was life or God because I'm not well. I'm not sure how to address. I'm not sure about the nature of this. You know, it doesn't seem. I'm not sure if I'm addressing
so let's
someone.
so honey, let's go back. You're standing now from the floor. Now you're standing. Life is too hard for you. Notice what you do next. Do you go to the sink? Do you sit down in a chair? Do you?
I honestly don't remember. I know that a little later I just went out to take a walk.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So
just seeing the sun, I think, so much.
notice other than what you were thinking and believing, life isn't too hard. You're walking.
No, it is not. It is not too hard.
No, but what you're thinking and believing, that's what's hard. Because you're just, the ego offers it up. You fall into that trance and self-inquiry. It it wakes us up to the trance. So what is your argument with God?
Can I pass to number two for that? Because
Okay.
I think this is when it gets a little more general. Um, so I want life, God, to have more compassion.
So you're on the floor. You're on the floor in the kitchen. You want God to have more compassion toward you. Is it true? You want God to be more compassionate toward you. Is it true? You want God to be more compassionate. Is it true?
Yeah. everything that is tough has made me also more courageous, and I can look back to things and sort of be grateful. And in a certain sense, you say,
I'm looking for a yes or no.
do I want God to be more compassionate?
You want God to be more compassionate.
I can only for a yes on that one.
Now notice on the floor how you react when you think the thought, I want God to be more compassionate toward me. Notice what the ego offers up. You know, the horror of the future in your head and the depression of the past in your head. And it's vivid. You see yourself stuck back there the way you described it to us, that place you never want to be again. You see a future of more of the same.
Do I see a future or the same?
Oh, I'm just repeating what you've shared with us, what you see past and future. Okay, so be on the floor. I want God to be more compassionate toward me. So be on the floor. You're sitting on the floor. Now turn it around. I want me to have more compassion toward me. So close your eyes and give you that. Give you that compassion. Where you're believing that life is too hard for you, give you the compassion you want God to give you as you sit on the floor. And notice the ground, the floor that's holding you. And in your mind's eye, look at the walls. They're not closing in on you. Look at the ceiling, it's not falling on you. Notice in reality, other than what you're thinking and believing, are you okay? Compassion.
Yes.
Give you that. Give you that God has given. Want a little fear and terror, get a future. Want a little shame and guilt, get a past. That's not God's work. That's the ego's work. Notice the difference as you sit on the floor and compassionately. Now look at the relief that your mother feels as you are sitting in that state of compassion. Where you are giving you what she can't give you, your mother can. And as far as God, that God of your understanding, let's say, he's, there's nothing but compassion going on for you. There's the floor and the ceiling and your body, and other than what you're thinking and believing, what grace in that situation. And what do you want in that situation? What did you write for number 2?
I want life to have more compassion.
So
To
now I want me to have more compassion for me.
want me to have more compassion. You should write it down. Should I write it down?
No, just
Or
be
should
on,
I keep
be
it
on
in?
the floor, be on the floor and live it. I want me to have more compassion for me. When you're thinking the thought life is too hard, and other than what you're thinking and believing, you're doing fine.
I wrote down some more.
Okay.
To be less. I mean, once. To be less cold and fierce. To not be a regime.
So say it again.
I want life for God to have more compassion, to be less cold and fierce, and to not be a regime.
So God caused your fears. Is it true?
No. Yeah, okay, but here's one thing. I have to get through
Okay,
this because I can also stand on a yes on that one.
okay, so God caused your fears. Is it true? You think yes. And notice how you react when you think the thought, God is causing me, God is the cause of my fear.
Well, hopeless, scared.
Godless.
No, not godless, because
Oh,
God is
I thought you
there.
abandoned him or her or it,
Oh,
whatever
how
it
did
is.
I abandon him?
Well, you obviously don't believe in him, that he's doing a good job. You've
I believe in
stripped all
him.
his power.
That doesn't mean I don't believe in him.
Okay, well, what kind of God is that? Gee,
Yeah, well,
whoa. God, my daughter told me one time, Mom, that stands for good old dude. Yours is not a good old dude in your head.
no, it's not. But I look at all my suffering and all the suffering going on, and I say, it could have been avoided or something. Like, I have that sort of written down. Uh, uh,
Um, Hell is a state of mind, and I don't leave it to God to take care of it. He leaves it to me to take care of, and I've taken that on. So we're working together.
sorry, I'm a little slow today.
You want God to have more compassion toward you. Be on the floor, turn it around. I want me to.
I need to have more compassion
For you.
for me
So be there on,
to
be
be
there.
less cold and fierce.
No, no, no. Just be there on the floor. That's where you are.
No, I was just going to the rest of the statement.
Well,
If
I'm
it's
I'm on the floor and you're everywhere else.
okay, okay,
I'm getting a lot of work done on that floor too. Just in case you don't.
okay.
Okay. So honey, let's look at God is cold and fierce. Is it true?
Yes.
And how do you react?
Among other things, yes.
And how do you react? What happens when you think the thought, you're on the floor? How do you react? What happens when you think the thought, God is cold and fierce?
Lying on the floor, God is cold and fierce. Scared, apprehensive.
And it takes you back to that horrible time of your life where you were so lost,
Yeah.
terrifying. Yeah. So be on the floor, sitting on the floor. Who would you be without the thought, God is cold and fierce? So just be on the floor, drop your thoughts, look around. Your mother is there concerned. The ceiling, it's being held up by the walls. It's not falling in on you. Notice the ground is holding you. Other than what you're thinking and believing, are you okay?
Yes.
God is cold and fierce. God is the opposite of cold, warm, opposite of fierce, kind. God is warm and
Yeah, it's warm in God.
giving. In that situation, all that grace just waiting for you to notice, but your ego is taking all the space.
God is warm and kind. I mean, it's not that I don't believe that God is warm, kind, cold, fierce. God is all.
You don't have to believe it before, you don't have to believe it after, just on the floor.
Just on the floor, believe God is warm and kind.
Yeah. I mean, there's a floor for you to sit on. You're not falling into the abyss.
Okay, but
Your butt is it's like pulling a gun out and shooting yourself with it.
like I can tell myself a nice story, but
You don't
it's not
have to
gonna do it.
ask the
Is it?
question. Is it going to do it? Not for you, because your arguments outweigh your desire to sit with in an open mind in these questions. Your ego jumps in and takes, you do beautiful inquiry, authentic inquiry, and then your ego just throws itself in there and takes it all back. Now just
That
expect it, expect it. That's why I invite everyone to move their thoughts on their head to paper, because the ego will destroy it. But if it's on paper, there it is in black and white. It stopped to support your head to be in the situation. So you don't have to go all over the universe to win, like this flight with the ego, just hanging out in the ego's world, being just taken away from the moment you're sitting on the floor in self-inquiry. The two of us here just witnessing how difficult it is to have patience with the ego. God is the cause of your fear. Is it true?
Not technically.
No, so not technically isn't the answer. The answer to the first two questions is either yes or no. Why have I set it up that way? The ego doesn't, there's no room for the ego to argue with it. The answer is to meditate in that situation. God is the cause of your fear. Is it true? Anchor there.
No.
Now notice in that situation on the floor how you react when you think the thought, God is the cause of my fear.
Can I anchor to this moment?
Can you what?
Can I anchor to this moment to reflect on that thought? It's just that I every time I try to go there, it's like I'm not quite. It's easier for me to be here now.
God is the cause of my fear. Turned around.
I am the cause of my fear. God is not the cause of my fear.
Slow it down. My thoughts, what I'm thinking and believing, is the cause of my fear. So
Cause of my fear.
try that on.
What I'm thinking and believing is the cause of my fear.
The cause of your fear and terror, is it God or is it what you're thinking and believing in the situation? You're the one believing life is too hard for you.
I should. There's something on my mind. It's not necessarily exclusively what I'm thinking and believing. Sometimes I think I have.
I'm 100% not surprised. Your mind moves from inquiry. The ego offers something else up. You fly away with that. It's like you kind of go with that. Not right or wrong, just notice that your ego flies away and you can come back to the written words on your worksheet and anchor there.
Can you? I just need to blow up my nose for a moment. Can you give me just 1 second? Because I can't. Just a moment. Thank you.
So let's look at 3. In that situation where you're believing life is too hard for you, number 3.
Life's lush. God shouldn't be cruel, shouldn't put beings out for so much suffering and so little real enjoyment. If things were meant to be this stuff, then there shouldn't be a creation at all. That's what I have.
Okay, so God is cruel. We just kind of looked at that one. God is cold and fierce. God shouldn't bring so much suffering. So God brings this suffering to you. Is it true?
No.
And notice on the floor how you react when you believe the thought. God brings so much suffering to me. God shouldn't be so cruel. Notice the images in your head of past, future when you're believing the thought. As you're sitting on the floor. It's like sitting in the head of a terrorist, hopeless. All those images of past, of future.
Worried, anxious.
Now there's a cause for that. You're seeing those images of the past, where those terrible things happened to you when you were little, and then you see images of the future where it's more of the same. Okay, so now just be there on the floor and just thank all those thoughts for sharing and get present. Feel the ground holding you, the floor, the ground holding you. And then when your eyes close, look at the walls in the kitchen and notice the ceiling. And is there a table? So other than what you're thinking and believing, are you okay?
Yes.
And are you supported?
Yes.
The ground is holding you. And
My
if
mom.
that's not enough, your mom is there. And if that's not enough, there's walls, there's a ceiling, it's not falling in on you. Other than what you're thinking and believing, there it is. The gift. Some refer to it as the gift of God. The gift. You know, the days and nights I spend in the desert alone just to see what lost means, what found means, what fear means, what joy means, just alone. The support, the support. Not knowing where I am, not knowing what direction that I walked in on, not knowing north, south, east, what, none of it. Never lost. never lost, always present, grounded, with more to be grateful for than the number of scars, the stars in the sky, or the cactus, or the sand. Never lost.
Always here.
Yeah. Yeah. Undeniably. But the ego would throw you all over the place, past, future, past, future, past, future. Not the not now, the not now, the not now, the not now. Want a little fear and terror, get a future. Want a little shame and guilt, get a past. Just. And I love that in our time together, you know the difference between reality and fantasy as you sit on the floor. Perfectly okay, other than what you're thinking and believing. And life isn't too hard for you in that situation. Just sit on the floor and then try to make yourself sit there forever. And by some grace, you'll stand up. And then you'll take the credit for it, like, oh, I stood me up. Yeah, so much for God. Left God in the dust. I, I am being done. I'm not the doer. And I don't have to use 100% trust.
I don't have to use 100% trust.
No, because you're 100% taken care of, other than what you're thinking and believing.
That's kind of news for me.
Don't believe me. I've tested it, but that doesn't make it so for you. That's what this work is all about.
You've tested that you don't need 100% trust.
No, I don't need to trust. It just is. I mean, there's there is no downside. That's non-duality. There's good, the end. The ego's job is to convince us, or otherwise here in Earth School, just to take care of any rough edges, any doubts we may have by some grace. Earth School.
The good can express in fierce ways. Is that not true?
Ask again.
The good can express itself fiercely. The good can come fiercely. Like, when Adyashanti talks about fierce grace, I sort of come from that when I say that God is fierce. Yes, God is loving, God is fierce. And I am afraid of that. So yeah, I made.
Well, fear is the ego's work. It'll offer something up, and there's nothing to fear whatsoever unless you believe it, and that's the trance.
Unless I believe the fear, unless I believe my thought.
Yeah. And you're not alone. Here in Earth School, it's you believe your thoughts, and you can question them, you can identify them and question them, but it's nothing any of us have to do. It's nothing you have to do. But we cry like children and throw tantrums like someone else or something else is going to hear us and solve the problem. But no, there's no problem here on earth other than what we're thinking and believing about him, her, them, ourselves. That's the trance. God shouldn't be so cruel. Turned around. I shouldn't be so cruel. I should catch these thoughts when I'm frightened and question them. I shouldn't be so cruel.
I shouldn't be so. I can.
Identify them, question them.
Go there.
Yeah. You know, when before the work found me, I was agoraphobic and it was terrifying, terrifying, terrifying to even think about going outside. Or that the kids would bring someone home and they would look at me. I mean, terrifying. Just living in my bedroom, just terrified, just sometimes just screaming for help.
Well,
States of mind. And by some grace, is it true, found me. Self-realization found me. The answer to is it true? And I'm not an isolated case. What's mine is yours. You know, this question, is it true? What I'm believing in that situation on the floor, is it true? And so when you're filling in a worksheet, you know, imagine yourself on the floor in that state of mind as you fill in the worksheet. Even though you may be sitting at a desk, imagine yourself on the floor and fill in the worksheet. Honey, call the helpline and ask them to hold you. Tell them you're like Wile E. Coyote, that you have trouble anchoring, and ask for their help. And you could be the one you call and just sit in your worksheet, and when your mind gets away from you, just thank it for sharing and come back to the question. You're on one of those 4 questions and turnarounds. You know, the ego takes us into the illusion of hell, and inquiry is how we dig ourselves out of the grave. Because that's what it feels for some of us as we're living our life, like we're just being buried. But I assure all of you, those are states of mind. And anytime you sit in self-inquiry, it's like the ego is losing its grip, and it's not going to go down easy. You know, it's fighting to be I am this identity. So be gentle with the ego. It's a terrified child. Thank you, Alessandro, for being our teacher today. You're not alone.
thank you. Yeah. Can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
Can I do this work? Can I take? I mean, I know I have like stuff I have to work through, and I know there are beliefs behind that stuff. And can I like take a belief without a neighbor?
Can you?
Yeah, can I like take a belief I have about life, about people or whatnot, and bring
would
it
go
back
back.
to
I would
do the turnarounds on it and do the work on it, or do you think it's somewhat important to?
I would go back to those traumatic experiences and identify on a worksheet what I was thinking and believing in that terrifying situation where I was the most terrified or really terrified, and and do a worksheet, moving my head in that situation, moving my head in that situation to paper.
Okay, so it's always better to anchor it to a
It's always,
okay, I have a situation, but not necessarily a neighbor.
well, no, neighbor is just an expression for any other person.
No, I know. What if I cannot? I have like a limiting belief or a horrifying belief, but I may not have like a neighbor about it to judge.
So what is a situation where you're this young child and what's happening to you is horrific? What's an example of a situation like that, of that?
Um, I was thinking more like I have the belief that I maybe the idea of getting a new job, just for having a job in and of itself, it causes me a lot of anxiety, for instance, and I want to like take the whatever thought is back, like working is wrong or working is getting me fast
I
farther from awakening, and like question this and see what I find.
on doing the work. If I needed a job and I was doing the work on a job, needing a job, then I'm too self-interested in it to do any kind of really deep running self-inquiry. I'm invested. I'm going into it with a motive to get what I want. So I wouldn't do that to me.
I'm not sure I followed you there. Uh,
You honey, do the work on mother, father, sister, brother. Do the work on mother, father, sister, brother, and watch your life shift. Yeah, and I'm gonna call on people to see what their takeaway is from our
Thank
time.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for your courage, honey. Your mind is, you can do this. Your mind is open. So, Jane.
Hi, Katie. Hi,
Hi,
Ella.
Jane.
Oh, hi. I found this work today very powerful because of the apparent contrast between God, the ego's version of God, and sitting on the floor. I just found that a great contrast to work with a lot. And Alejandro, I just wanted to tell you, I've had sleep problems for almost 25 years, and including periods where I couldn't sleep at all for months, and I lost jobs and whatnot. And here I am, and you can do it too. And I slept well last night with no medication, still woke up in the morning amazed, but it happened. So you can do it.
Yeah, honey, that's so good to know everything changes. Thank you so much. Oh, Penelope.
Hi.
Hi, honey.
I can't believe how perfect this morning is.
Mm.
I wasn't even meant to be here, just homesick, so I dialed in. And I'm basically Alejandro's mother. So my sheet is about being a mother to a suffering son.
Mm.
So it's perfect. Thank
Oh,
you, Alejandro. I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm probably not. But thank you so much for doing your work. It was so meaningful and so helpful to me.
oh, I love hearing that. I can just imagine being the mom
Yes.
and just seeing that her son is 100% okay other than what he's thinking, believing that he's home in the moment, he's safe, he's in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Some grace.
Yes. Yeah. It's just perfect. I have a son who he was critically ill 2 years ago, and it's just been spiraling into, some mental health issues, and it's just hard to watch. So I did a sheet on that, and I watched an old YouTube video of yours that carried me through for weeks about mothers and children and parenting, and I just want to thank you for that. You talked about your son, who you honored his path, that his path was as important as yours, even though they look so different. That is so hard in practice,
Yeah.
me, when they're in the middle of it, watching the suffering, watching the loop in their head, and feeling helpless about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I should do just read my sheet or some of my sheet, or what do you think?
Yeah. Read number 1.
Okay. I'm exasperated with my son because he cannot get over his thinking about his face. Right now it's about acne and flushing and stuff.
So he can't get over the condition on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call it the condition.
Okay.
And we'll keep in mind it's his face, it's acne. He's at that age.
Yes.
He can't get over thinking about acne on his face.
Yeah.
Is it true? What is the situation? I think you
It's
described it. He's having a really hard time with it.
right. In the situation, it's yes, it's true.
And notice how you react in that situation with your son when you think the thought he can't get over thinking about acne on his face.
Yeah, I spiral, I worry, I try and fix, I feel exasperated, I feel anxious, I feel depressed, I feel,
Okay.
I look for evidence to, I go down the past, the future, I'm all over, I'm all over.
Okay, so be there now with your son in that situation.
Yeah,
Would you be without the thought? Just connect with him, listen to his words, listen to his worries, listen if he tantrums out, just be in that hopelessness as you may see it to be. Just drop that, connect with your son. Who would you be without the thought he can't get over thinking about acne on his face? Now just drop those images of past, future, be with your son. You don't have to touch him, you don't have to make nice, nothing. Just witness, be present, and love.
I can see him. He's lying on my bed and he's talking about dying, and he wish a car would run over him, or, you know, like but he's lying there. He's on my bed on a quilt my mom made, and he has,
Is he close enough you could put your hand on his head?
yeah,
So do that and continue to listen. Don't move him from what he's saying or thinking or believing. Just move your hand there and maybe scratch his little head. Just get connected. Listen. Be there with him until he's done.
so yeah, I see him. He's so precious.
Yeah. But notice the difference between that experience and trying to fix him.
I know.
It's
It,
just, it's just, it's not that you haven't already tried everything.
yes. Yes, we have. Yeah.
But that love you hold for him, that's the power. And that's where it shines, where we're not trying to fix them. We become good listeners. And that is intimate and sometimes brings tears.
It is so hard not to want to fix.
Well, you can offer just if there's anything that you want me to do at any time, just let me know. I'm here for you. Always know I'll do my best. I love you.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that does, if I was lying on the bed, curled up in a ball, a huge mess, and someone talked to me like that, I would feel a whole lot better if someone was really listening.
because there's not one inauthentic breath.
Yes.
And it's so simple when we're not trying to fix them, when we're just listening and feeling and loving. And it takes a lot of courage to just listen without trying to fix our children. We think that's our role as parents. And often it is, but in situations where you've tried everything,
Yeah. Yeah. It's the fear around it. When he starts talking about he wish he died, he's gonna wish he could kill himself, wish he could be in
have you ever felt that way?
yes.
Okay, you can share that with him, honey. I understand. I have felt that way in my life as well.
Yeah.
It's a it's a horrible place to be.
Yeah.
I hear you.
That's what your video, you kept saying. You would say, I understand.
Yeah, only when I do, and you
Right.
do.
That's right. I do understand. And
Been
it
there.
reminds me of my past. Like this is, I
Well,
know,
you
I know that.
Yeah, it wasn't acting, but it's the emotional and the
Yeah.
what you're recognizing in him is not unfamiliar.
Not at all. And
And and it's authentic and he gets it because you're not trying to fix out of fear.
I want to just clear, like, it's the fixing that's the problem. Like, it's the fixing that gets me into a spiral and blaming. I want to blame myself because I do know, and there's, family history of all kinds of stuff. So I go into the past and look at how, you know, it's my fault, genetics, or I fucked them up when it was early days, postpartum depressed mom.
So your genetics are your fault. That's taking a lot of credit.
Oh,
And no, we don't think of those things while we're busy getting pregnant,
no.
whether we're aware of we're getting pregnant or not.
We had no idea. I had no idea what I was getting into.
It's like, oh no, I can't have intercourse. I don't want to pass my genetics on. Let's do something different as we're experiencing ourselves together.
Well, he blames us sometimes for it and says, I'm a dumpster of bad genetics, he says.
Yeah. And you can tell him the truth. It's like, for better or for worse, honey, it's a great path.
Oh,
It's a great path. I came out with you, and I love you.
And I've gotten so much better with many things, but the work has been instrumental
You know,
in
I say things that sound wise, and they are, and they're my experience. But I've done all of you. I've lived these turnarounds on the worksheets. I do it in real time as I'm working the worksheet. When it's time to turn the concept I'm working on, I question it. When it's time to turn it around, I anchor in the situation and I live it. The wants, needs, and shoulds on your judge your neighbor worksheets 2, 3, and 4. Living turnarounds. And in real time, as you're sitting in your worksheet, you question them and then you turn around and live it.
yeah.
And it's like practice for life. You're doing it in your mind's eye, and it gives you the courage and understanding and experience of actually saying that wise thing, that kind thing, doing that wise thing, that kind thing that the turnarounds offer up. Forgiveness. Yeah. Honey, thank you for raising your hand. Oh my
Oh,
goodness. I'm just looking at an amazing mother, and blessings on him.
yeah, thank you. And Alejandro, keep doing the work. It works. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you, everybody.
Oh my, Kamala. Hi, sweetie.
Katie, thank you.
So you
And I'm understand Pinlove very good. So I'm also with a story was about my son. So I try to do the work and fill in the worksheet. And I see that I'm a bit struggling, especially with turnarounds. Maybe my first statement is, which I choose, is not proper one. Just I have a belief which make my life very, very stressful, and is that my son will be unsuccessful due to his behavior. And every time when such situation come up, and usually it happens very regularly in school, I feel a very, very bad emotion inside. It's a disappointment, it's a shame. How come he can behave like that? And root all of this is that I'm afraid that due to such behavior, he will be he will ruin his life and future.
yeah.
And maybe I understand that most probably it's absurd thoughts. He is very smart and he has lots of good capabilities and characteristics, but this not help me with these fears. I mean,
So, because of your son's behavior, and you
yeah.
know what that is, because of his behavior, he'll never be successful in life. Can you really know that it's true that your son won't be successful in life due to his behavior?
No, I understand that this is not true.
Okay. So just
This is
feel
not
the
true.
no. So just feel the no. Those of you new to the work, the answer to the first two questions is either yes or no. And it makes it difficult because it requires stillness and a dropping into. You have an image of your son's behavior and you think he'll be unsuccessful in life because of it. And he will not be successful in life. Is it true? Can you really know that it's true? And then just feel the no. You get it? You get it? This isn't a conversation. It sounds like one, but this is you with you. Right now, you have a son, you're worried about how he's going to live his life when he's grown. So this is not a little question. This is you with you. Can you really know that it's true? He won't be successful due to his behavior as you know it to be. And just feel that no. Unless it's moved to a yes, whatever it is, just I'm hearing from you, no, you can't know it. And I stay in things like this until I get it in my cells. And here's why, Kamala. Notice how you treat your son, how you look at him, how you treat him, how you worry, how you blame him for your worry. Notice your relationship when you're with your son, when you're thinking the thought, my son will never be successful because of his behavior. Notice, do you put any pressure on it? Notice, are you harder on him than you'd like to be? Notice, are you not hard on him at all because you're afraid of his reaction?
Yeah.
Notice how you treat your son when you think the thought, because of me, and I can't control him, he won't be successful in life. And it goes into...
Yes, I can't control it.
Yeah. So did you hear you? You can't control it. It's not as though you haven't tried. Okay, now be with your son, breakfast maybe. Without the thought, or maybe he's coming home from school, find a situation. Who would you be without the thought? Due to his behavior, he'll never be successful in life. What is the situation you're looking at?
It's a situation when I receive a message from school that he done some improper stuff during the lessons and interrupted and etc. And it just in this second while reading, I feel that fear, and I feel the shame and angriness to my son.
Yeah. And
But
notice,
if I put aside the thought that it will not make him unsuccessful, everything is pretty normal, and I will be happy without this fear. And also he will be happy, and our relationship will be absolutely different.
I can really see that. And you can talk openly about, without that fear, you can talk openly about his behavior at school. And, just saying, honey, I got this note from school, and school must be pretty rough for you. What's it like for you sitting in a classroom? Maybe you're bored, but what is that like for you? And then listen.
Yes, we never talk about it without this fear. It usually was like a yelling or trying to understand but not in understanding manner. I mean,
Yeah.
just I want to understand why you behave so bad.
It's like we're going to solve a problem by going to war with our child. War is war. And they learn behaviors from us. But who would you be
Yeah.
without the thought? He comes home and I was contacted by school and they're talking about your behavior and what's it like for you? What's it like for you sitting in that classroom? I just really, and maybe he won't be open to responding, and maybe he won't trust you, and rightfully so when we look at our behavior toward our son when we're frightened.
Yeah.
If he doesn't want to talk about it, and say, well, honey, I'm here for you, and I don't know, what it's like for you to sit in that classroom, but I'm here if you ever want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And then I back my words up too. I don't say those things lightly if I don't mean it. Because he could come out with just horrific complaints, exaggerated, way exaggerated. But I wouldn't ever call him on it. I would just listen because it's a sign of his frustration. Could be.
Yeah.
And then I love you and let's have dinner. It's just, you just move, like just say your piece. And sweetheart, a full judge your neighbor worksheet on your son in that situation is, the guidance in those turnarounds after we've questioned them. Those turnarounds are just magical. But if we turn them around before we sit in the 4 questions, we're missing like 90% of the effect those turnarounds can have on our life. I'm so glad.
So in here that I feel fear that my son will be unsuccessful. How I can turn this around? My fear is that I will be unsuccessful, or how it should be turned around in this
My
case.
son will be unsuccessful when he grows up. Turned around, I will be unsuccessful when I grow up, raising this son that is a problem at school.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
those worksheets have allowed me to be the mother I always wanted to be. These worksheets from 1 to 6, they give me clear direction on how to raise my children. Those living turnarounds worksheets on my 3 children. I have a son, my oldest son, and oh boy, before the work found me, it was just war. His grades were down, and I just, just, mm, on and on and on. And anyway, he married, and gosh, how do I make this such a short story? He got this job working at a hospital for veterans, and now he's in charge of he's in charge. And I mean, him. I just, I'm just stunned. And he's retiring now. He's been at it so many years, like almost 3 decades. And that's just some kind of miracle. But it's not. It's the difference between what I was thinking and believing about him and reality. But
That's fantastic.
my children can't fail in my eyes. It just happens that by some grace, they're all. For him to have you as an example, the example that these worksheets allow us, it's the greatest gift. It's just the greatest gift we can give ourselves, and it flows into their lives. And I love you found self-inquiry. And the way you love your
Thank you
son,
very much.
the way you love your son is so obvious. With my oldest son and I, before the work found me, it was a war. It was war. He knew everything I didn't want and would push every button. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Pushed me to the death, and I came out reborn. Yeah.
Thank you.
And you. Boy, love runs deep. There is nothing else. Anything less than that it goes against our heart. Oh dears, our time together. Our time together. Oh gosh. Okay. So thanks for your contributions. Our time together. My gosh, you just never know what we're gonna get. All we can know is it's life, and we all have it in common. So what is life? It is what I am thinking and believing it to be. It can never be more or less than that. So those of you new to the work, welcome to the work. And all of you, thanks to your contribution. We show up here every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And it's a privilege for not only me, but staff. And those of you that want to do the work, the helpline is open and available at helpline@thework.com. And they'll support you. Those of you knew how to fill in a worksheet, just whatever you need from us. Okay, and Alessandro, and those of you that raised your hand, thank you for being our teachers today. And thank you all for something beautiful.